Welcome to another episode of Dinner Starts Here. We've got Pete touring us around today. Thanks for having us, Pete.
Well, thanks for coming.
Now, Pete, you are a watermelon farmer.
Yeah.
First of all, I didn't even know watermelons could be grown in Ontario. How long have you been doing it? What's the process for growing watermelons?
Well, we're at the very northern fringe of growing watermelons in North America, and I've been doing it for 14 years. The wife and I and the kids, and we got started because we were in the tobacco business, and that was a dying business, and we needed something to do. And so we chose a crop that suited our land, sandy soil, water. We already had experience with help, so it met all our needs, and it was a good crop to get into.
Now, you said to me before that you really like growing watermelon. Why?
The challenge.
The challenge. It's not an easy crop to grow?
It is considered the hardest crop to grow out there.
Really?
Yeah.
Why is that?
Disease pressures. You cannot tell you can't look inside a watermelon and tell what's going on inside. We know so little of this plant still. And especially in Canada, you can't go to your neighbor and ask for advice because you don't have neighbors.
Yeah.
That's right. So it's a very tough crop to grow.
Really? Now, so then give me an idea what the growing season looks like. When do you plant them? What do you do throughout the season? We're into August now. This is harvest, obviously.
So it all starts basically in February by just ordering the seeds, securing contracts. Going into March, we seed. We get everything propagated in Blenheim at Lake Erie greenhouses, and April comes around. We're doing our soil tests and stuff like that. We work the land. We lay all the plastic mulch in May with all the drip irrigation underneath. You can see that right
really?
Here.
There's lines underneath it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this whole field can be irrigated in one single shot.
Wow.
The guys come at the beginning of May from Mexico, and we start planting around the 23rd of May that we started planting this year.
Wow.
From there, it's just a process of finishing your planting. Weed control is a major emphasis here. We got weeds now, but you have to start right from the beginning to control the weeds. And once harvest starts, you have no time for weed control anymore.
And then now it's harvest. How does harvest work?
Harvest works with a great bunch of guys from Mexico, Canadians. I have 14 guys from Mexico, and I have approximately about 40 people altogether, and the rest are all Canadians.
Quite a few students, I see.
A lot of students, and then we have some Canadian, retired guys from the city of London actually work for us.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and part-time guys, they just want a few days a week, and it works out really good. But for the essential part is having the guys pick the melons. Everything about this crop is handwork. There's no automation to this crop. It's all done by hand, planted by hand, picked by hand. The plastic is picked up by hand and removed every year.
The grading, like that grading in the back at the barn.
Yep.
That's all by hand.
It's all by hand. Sorting it, stickering it, packing it. It's all done by hand.
Isn't that something?
And my biggest cost, single cost, is labor.
Is labor, just because it's such a hands-on crop.
That's right. And I hate to say it, but if minimum wage goes to $15 an hour, we're gonna be really hard pressed. We're gonna see. I don't even think it's feasible to grow.
Really?
And not that I begrudge any guy $15 an hour. I'm not saying that.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is, I'm paying these guys $15 an hour. The melons that are coming in from the U.S., from Indiana, those guys there are working under the table, and they're working for about $4 or $5 an hour.
Yeah.
So,
and that's what you have to compete with when you're selling to like big chains.
Exactly.
Because a lot of them just want the cheapest melons.
That's right.
The store shelves.
That's right.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yep. That does make it challenging. So then the other part about filling those contracts, though, is your food safety audit. And I'm here today because you're going into a food safety audit in the next few days and don't really want me touring around. What What's with the audit and why do it?
Okay, the audit is designed to make sure that all the food that a consumer buys at Loblaws or Costco, where I sell my product, they can feel confident that it is 100% safe. So, and that starts back in February, this food audit, by me picking the right varieties from a reputable source like Stokes or Seedway or any of those companies. Then it has to go to the greenhouse where they have their own audits, and so they ensure that the plant that they grow for me is good. All my sprays are recorded, all my fertilizers are recorded, all my I do water tests, tissue tests. It's all recorded, and I can prove to the stores that purchase my product that I've done everything to make sure that that food is 100% safe for the consumer.
Well, we found our way into the office, and there's Mandy's signature there. She is the keeper of the books. Mandy, you must keep this place ticking, obviously, with all of your record keeping. And record keeping is part of the food safety part that Pete and I were talking about in the field. What is this sheet?
The sheet's like tracking where all the watermelons go for all the stores and stuff like that.
So you keep track, obviously, of every box, like in there. There's 27 boxes. That's not 27 watermelons. That's 27 boxes going to Costco, plus 15, plus 6, plus 6, plus 6.
Yeah.
You ship a lot there.
Yeah.
And then obviously all the other little stores too. So what other kind of records do you have to keep track of?
So every time the watermelons come out of the field and into the barn, we have to write down the variety and the date and stuff like that, and then the code that goes in the box and what we pack them in.
And then, like, you keep track in that book, it's got everything from all the fertilizer you apply and every time you do an oil change on a tractor and all that kind of stuff, don't you?
Yes.
Food safety must be a big deal.
Yeah.
I think that's probably a big surprise to a lot of people that, I mean, this just isn't planting something and then picking it out of a garden. Like, there's a lot that goes into proving safety and ensuring safety along the way.
Yes,
Yeah.
and we have global gaps, so I could basically sell my watermelons anywhere in the world.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So a lot of the standards are the same in the United States and apparently Mexico too. I don't know how true that is, but they tell me it is.
They tell you it is.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you've got your family working with you too.
That's right. Like my wife does the majority of the books, payroll. She just is the glue, and I'm doing more of the outside stuff, and then my daughters all work grading watermelons, recording the book. They're a great big help.
The last thing I want to talk about, and we were talking about this before too, is, and it's something we haven't really talked a whole lot about through all these other videos, is what kind of an impact the weather can have on a crop. Because you were telling me this hasn't been the most ideal year, and you're going to notice it. You're going to feel it hard.
This, if you look back it started in the spring. We had so much rain. It was cool, overcast. July or June, same thing.
And watermelons don't like cold, do they?
No. What they need is sunny, hot days, warm nights, and we need a rain. Mm-hmm. We haven't recorded a decent rain here, or we had one last week. Our first one since the end of June here, and this is sand. So we're irrigating every day. So basically what happened is, because of the cool weather, the bees did not pollinate the flowers, which in turn produces the watermelons.
Yep.
So I'm short on watermelons this year. Then the watermelons will not ripen because there's not enough sun to turn it red inside. Yeah. The cool nights keep the plant from growing. It shuts it down. So basically the melons that I do have never sized.
Oh, they're not nearly as big as they should be.
That's
as
correct.
They would be another year. Really?
That's right.
Yep.
So if you're doing a big melon for Costco, it only takes 45 watermelons per box. I'm getting a lot of 80s, so I need 80 melons per box.
So like half the size basically is what they are.
Yes, and 80 melons doesn't pay nearly as good as 45s.
Yep.
So it's a real, it's going to be a real shortfall this year.
Isn't that something? Something you don't necessarily think about is how much You put all that work into the food safety, into the planting, all of that, and then you leave it up to Mother Nature, and she decides.
She decides. She's the equalizer, the great equalizer, isn't she?
Well, that's unfortunately some days.
Yeah.
So, yep.
But the consumer will never see that, because all they know is that the watermelon is there in the box,
Yep.
in the store.
Yep.
But they don't realize what it takes to get that watermelon to the store.
Yeah.
And you know, you can still golf in cloudy weather, but can't grow these
Can't
things.
grow watermelons in cloudy weather.
That's right.
Well, and you were saying, so you're selling your watermelon, like if people wanted Pete's watermelons, I mean, you sell into Costco, you sell into Loblaws,
Yes.
they just have to go to their grocery store almost.
That's right. Like we really emphasize buy local, sell local. And for every person that's working in Ontario or Canada, they're paying taxes. It all makes us better. And so we try to source everything we do locally for this crop. And that starts with the stickers, the boxes, you know, even buying the tractors locally and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, you know, I'm hoping that the people in London, Toronto, Montreal see these watermelons and they go, yeah, this is grown locally. Let's buy this stuff.
Well, we'll hope so, people. You can find Pete's watermelons and other farmers like him just in the grocery store. Just look for local. That's good. Thanks, Pete, for the day.
Thank you.